I came at a time where peddlers were peddlers with a capital P. And I speak of that in the highest regard for the selling business. But those men who had been on the road for years, and I as a young buyer with a very small b, and they sat at my desk and told me how to be a non-buyer. Now you say somebody who's selling, why would they do that? Because they knew that if I bought the wrong things, it was going to be their fault. They couldn't tell me what to buy and not to buy, but they were to tell me about how to go about buying. And one of them said many years ago that buying is the first profession of business. All business mistakes can be traced back to the poor buying of something. Ideas, suggestions, information, consultants, products, services, people, anything you bring into your business, you're buying. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is about selling and a completely different look at selling. First place, how many of you are in business at the moment? Anybody here planning or wanting to go into business? 2 of you. My condolences. No, I shouldn't say that. No. How many of you have read books on business? On selling, I'll say. Huh? Put them away. Because I'm going to be talking about selling in a far different way than you ever thought selling was about. So let me start off by this poem. Selling is the one game in town that pays the bills, that keeps the doors open, that nobody wants to admit they do. Oh, I'm not in sales. I'm a supervisor, a doctor, a lawyer, a banker, administrator, an accountant. Oh, don't look at me. I'm just the secretary, the nurse, receptionist, the shipping clerk. Funny if nobody sells. How do you get new students, new patients, new clients, new customers? Selling is everyone's business, and when it's not, you're in trouble. Think about it. Remember the time you decided not to go back to a company because the shipping clerk sent you the wrong item. The receptionist was cold and surly. The manager didn't have time to talk to a mere customer, or the doctor had you wait 2 hours. That's selling, negative selling. Remember, everyone sells, and it's not just externally, it's internally as well. When you want to raise, you sell your bosses on your skills and your value. When you set new policies and procedures, you sell those to your staff in a way they can accept, or you'll soon find they ignore them. When you expect more of your staff than you're willing to properly train and supervise them for, you're whistling up a hollow tree, because they're only as good as the training you give them. But there's more to selling than that. Selling is knowing. Knowing who's your competition, who's your customer, your client, your patient, your public, and what's important, you or them. Selling is knowing what your service, ideas, or products is and isn't, what your public needs are, what your services or products you offer to fill those needs. Selling is knowing when to market and where, who your competition isn't, and then being there, or why some things are accepted and others are not. Selling is knowing how to treat your public as if you would like to be treated, how to market and merchandise better than your competition, how to listen and learn from your staff as well as your public, and how to access your own knowledge or lack of it about your services, your ideas, your goods, your products, and how to make it easier for your customers to accept what you're offering. And finally, selling is knowing that this business is, after all, the profession of selling. Let's not pretend it's somebody else's problem. And this is what we're going to be talking about. I like to start all my workshops with my favorite book on business. It's soon to become my second favorite, but right now it's my favorite. As you can see, it's well worn, taped up, lots of markers in it. But of all the books I've read, and I've read maybe on the books on business and selling maybe 100, this is the best. And after I read this quote, I will tell you who wrote it and when it was written, and you'll be surprised. It starts off with, a trade may be truly called an ocean, and those that sail in it, however experienced, have always needs of directions, and in the various changes that it takes in the nature consequence of things, and by the length of time are such that the most experienced tradesman may stand in need of new instructions and hints and make daily discoveries of things which he knew nothing of before. This variety gives, as I have said, a new face to things, and the manufacturer has daily new rules to learn, new customs to set up, and new measures to take, such as his forefathers never knew, and so it will be to the end of time.